You're a veterinarian in a small town in Tamaulipas. You studied 6 years in Guadalajara, graduated with honors, came back home because your father was dying and someone had to run the clinic. He passed on a Tuesday. You kept the clinic open Wednesday. Small town. No other vet for 80 kilometers. You treat cattle mostly, some dogs. The occasional horse with a bad leg. You make enough to pay the electricity and eat 3 meals. You're 34, unmarried, quiet life, quiet hands. The kind of man people forget exists until their cow gets sick. The phone rings at 2 a.m. on a Thursday. Unknown number. You almost don't answer. You do because in this town, a 2 a.m. call usually means a rancher's animal is dying and he needs you now. You say hello. The voice on the other end is calm, polite even. He calls you doctor. He says he has a friend who needs medical attention, not an animal, a person. You say you're a veterinarian, not a doctor. He says he knows exactly what you are. He says his friend has a bullet in his shoulder and a hospital is not an option. He says you're going to help. He doesn't ask. You start to say no. He reads your mother's address back to you. Street name. House name. The color of the front door. The time she waters her garden every morning. 7:15. He's right. It's 7:15. The word no dies in your throat. A black truck pulls up to your clinic 20 minutes later. Two men carry a third man inside. He's maybe 25, shirtless, blood everywhere. Entrance wound on the left shoulder. No exit. The bullet is still in there. The two men stand against the wall with their arms crossed. One has a pistol tucked in his waistband. Not hidden. Displayed. You tell them you operate on animals. Your tools are for animals. Your training is for animals. The one with the pistol says, then pretend he's a dog. Nobody laughs. You work for 3 hours. Your hands shake for the first 40 minutes. Then they stop because your hands have always been steady when they're inside a body. Muscle is muscle. Bone is bone. You find the bullet lodged against the scapula. You extract it with forceps designed for removing wire from cattle stomachs. You irrigate the wound with saline meant for horses. You stitch him up with suture thread you use on dogs. It's not clean. It's not pretty. But the bleeding stops and his breathing stabilizes. The man on the table is unconscious. The two men against the wall haven't moved in 3 hours. When you're done, the one with the pistol puts an envelope on your counter. 50,000 pesos, more than you make in 2 months. He says the doctor did good. He says they'll be in touch. You want to say don't. You don't say anything. They carry the man out. The truck disappears. You stand in your clinic at 5 a.m. covered in human blood, staring at an envelope full of cash. Your surgical table has a red stain that won't come out for weeks. You scrub it with bleach until your hands crack. You hide the money inside a bag of dog food in the storage room. You don't spend it. Spending it means accepting it. Accepting it means you're part of something. You're not part of anything. This was a one-time thing. You tell yourself that 3 times before sunrise. The second call comes 19 days later. Different voice, same calm, same politeness. Another friend, another bullet. This time in the leg. You don't argue. You don't mention your mother's address. You just say, they bring him. You fix him. They leave an envelope. 60,000 this time. The money goes in the dog food bag. You tell yourself this is the last time. You know you're lying. By the 6th month, you've treated 9 men. Bullets, stab wounds, a machete gash across someone's back that exposed the spine, chemical burns on a man's hands from cooking something you don't ask about. You've gotten better at it. You ordered human surgical supplies online, paid cash through a courier. You now have proper sutures, real anesthesia, antibiotics meant for people. Your clinic has 2 rooms. The front is for animals, the back is for the calls. You installed a lock on the back room door. You told the neighbors you're storing expensive equipment. Nobody questions a veterinarian with a locked door. The money stacks up. You moved it out of the dog food bag and into a hole in the floor beneath your father's old desk. 340,000 pesos. You haven't spent a single one beyond the medical supplies. You still drive your father's truck, still eat at the same taqueria, still wear the same boots. Spending the money would make it real. Keeping it in a hole lets you pretend it's temporary. Your mother notices something. She doesn't know what. She says you look tired. She says you've lost weight. She asks if the clinic is okay. You say it's fine. She makes you dinner on Sundays and watches you eat like she's checking for cracks. Mothers see everything. She can't name what's wrong, but she can feel it the way she feels weather changing. She holds your face before you leave and says, you work too hard. The calls start coming faster, twice a month, then weekly. You're not the only one they use, but you're the best. Word travels inside the organization the way it travels in any company. Someone does good work. Management notices. Your name moves up a list you'll never see. One night, the man who drops off a patient says the boss is impressed. Says you have steady hands. Says that's rare. You don't want to be rare. Rare means valuable. Valuable means you never leave. A man dies on your table. October. Gut shot. Too much damage. Too much blood loss. He was dead before they carried him in. You just didn't know it yet. You work on him for 2 hours trying to stop bleeding that won't stop, because the liver is shredded and you're a veterinarian with horse clamps and a prayer. He dies at 3:47 a.m. You step back. Your scrubs are soaked. The two men in the room go quiet. You see them exchange a look. You know what that look means. If the doctor can't save them, the doctor is a loose end. You talk fast. You explain the wound. You explain that no hospital in the state could have saved him. You use medical terms they don't understand on purpose because authority lives in the words people can't question. One of them makes a call, speaks quietly, hangs up, nods at you. You're fine. This time you clean up the body. They take it. You don't ask where. That night you sit in the clinic alone. Lights off. You can still smell the blood. You think about the man's face. Young, maybe 22. Tattoo on his chest. A name. Probably a daughter. Somewhere a little girl is going to wait for her father to come home, and he never will. And you're the last person who touched him alive. The math doesn't work. It never did. You just got good at not looking at the numbers. Your phone rings. 2 a.m., unknown number. You answer on the first ring. You don't hesitate anymore. That's the part that should terrify you. The cartel doesn't recruit with guns. Guns are for the soldiers. For everyone else, there's a phone call. One call. Polite. Professional. Your mother's address recited like a poem. That's the product. Not drugs, not money. The product is the moment an ordinary person realizes the word no has been removed from their vocabulary. There's no contract, no ceremony, just a ringing phone and a silence on the other end that sounds like the rest of your life. Somewhere right now in a small town, a phone is ringing at 200 a.m. The person answering thinks it's a one-time thing. They're wrong the same way you were wrong. That's a wrap. The story is fiction, but the calls are real. And somewhere right now, a doctor or a mechanic or a truck driver is staring at an unknown number deciding whether to pick up. They will. They always do. If this made you think, subscribe Prime POV for more.